Hello everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm Sean's Mapping or the Sultanate Empire, and I would just like to say before we get into things, I would love to give another huge shout out to Ender M. He is an amazing friend of mine. If you have not seen his channel, I suggest you go check his channel out. It has amazing stuff. He does things that nobody really does for what if civilization started over. So let's get into the video. One more thing before we do, though, if you have not seen episodes 1, 2, 3, or 4, I suggest you go check them out. And also, one more thing, I'm sorry for the audio in episode 4. I had to re record episode 4 3 times. The first time, I ran out of storage space, so the video cut halfway. The second time, well, the file kind of got corrupted after I recorded it for a second time. And by the third time, I was kind of done after the file got corrupted, and it was just like, I need to post something. So I just uploaded it anyways because I was not going to re record it for a fourth time. Anyways, this intro has been way too long. I've been babbling and talking way too much. So let's get into the video. When we last left off, the Orange team went to war with Greece. Now, there has been some updates. Over here, I have added a world population and the rankings. Now, these rankings will always be here for the entire series. They're going to be here and I will update them off camera. So you will see the changes made to this thing in the next video. Um, so that's there, and it is on a different layer, so I can just hide it if I want to, which I'm going to do. I will show that at the start of every video and maybe at the end of every video, depending on um, how everything goes in the video. Anyways, let's get into this. The last time we left off, the Orange team and Greece went to war with one another. The Orange team is currently winning, but there might be some outside interference. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But let's get into this. The Orange team continues their war against the green team slash the Greeks, and it goes fairly well. They're able to take Turkey, well, most of their Turkish holdings at least, and they're gonna win. That's what it looks like. But eventually, they're stopped by Greek forces right about here, and they can't push any further. And, well, the Anatolian country, seeing opportunity to take back some of their lost land, they declare war on the Orange team. Now, the Orange team wasn't expecting this. They were not expecting this from the Anatolian country. But the Anatolian country pushes and takes a lot of territory from the Orange team. And they take to right about here when the Orange team is eventually able to stop them. Now fighting on a two-front war, the Orange team is being pushed back by Greek forces here in Turkey due to the Anatolian country getting involved. Now, the Orange team isn't so happy that the Anatolians got involved, but eventually, after reorganizing their military and the king thinking of a new strategy, decides we're going to attack both of them. And that's exactly what they do. After about 2 months of reorganization and just kind of holding on the defensive, the Orange team goes on an offensive, taking back one of their major cities, and they keep pushing against the Anatolian country, taking back yet another major city, and then taking back the last occupied major city that the Anatolians had. The Anatolians, kind of seeing this not going their way, decide to leave the war willingly so that the Orange team doesn't take more of their land. And they will hold a separate peace conference from the Greeks and the Orange team. So, with the Anatolians folding out of the war, the Orange team is able to reignite their invasion into the Greece controlled Turkish area, and they keep pushing. But they can only take Turkey, as they need to wait for their own navy to knock out the Greek navy, which is currently preventing them from crossing this strait right here. And eventually, this last bastion in Turkey falls over to the Orange team. Now, like I said in the last episode, the Orange team navy is a lot smaller than the uh, Greek navy, especially since they have a lot of coastal territory over here, but they would have had more if these guys didn't break away. Now, since there is no Suez Canal that has been created just yet, civilization had just started. There is no Suez Canal here that connects, the Mediterranean to this Gulf, meaning the Orange team has to go out and sail all the way around Africa. Well, they don't know that this is a giant ass continent, so they would literally have to take their boats that are here and just kind of sail out in this ocean and try and find out where is this area. And so they don't do that, but they do have a fleet here in the Black Sea. Now, this fleet has kind of just been in harbor, not really doing anything. But since they've taken the entirety of the Turkish coast, the Black Sea Fleet has been deployed to try and kind of take that area so that their troops can push across into mainland Greece. Now, when the Orange team and the Greeks first went to war, the Greeks didn't really have that big of a navy, especially a big enough navy to stand up to the ooh, excuse me, to stand up to the Orange team. Now, with this war getting heated, the Ukrainians deploy their own fleet in the waters to kind of defend their own area, as they don't want to be any part, they don't want to take part in this war at all. So they deploy their fleet and they will shoot at anybody that is involved in this war that enters their waters, which is pretty much up here. This whole area belongs to Ukraine. And, well, Greece is playing it defensively, not offensively. Now, the Orange team pushes against Greek's navy as they are able to take a majority of the area down here, and they kind of spearhead toward Crete, which is concerning for, well, Greece, as they don't want Crete to fall, as Crete is one of their main naval hubs since it is an island. And it's their biggest island that is, not connected over here in the mainland. It is their biggest island for a naval hub. So they end up pulling ships from up here, not too many, but just enough so that the Black Sea Orange Team fleet can, do damage and break through. That's why the Orange Team did this attack down here. So, pretty much, they do their attack and they're basically able to take this area over. Now, they're able to take to right about here before they're forced to stop. Now, the Orange Team pulls their fleet back down here. They don't go all the way back, but they go quite far back. They take to right about here, and this is where the Orange Team stops. Now, the Greeks realize they're kind of screwed because now the Orange Team can get troops over here, and that's exactly what they do. Pretty much 2 months after the naval victory, the Orange Team military on boots on the ground begin to push into Greece, into the Balkan area, and they begin to take land. They take the first two major cities, and they just keep taking more major cities and more major cities. At this point, one other person sees this as an opportunity to gain more land. And well, that is Italy. Italy was a breakaway country. Well, not a breakaway country. It was a country that was founded by Greek explorers. And well, these Greek explorers still don't like Greek. So they invade the Greece holding here in Italy, completely taking it over for themselves. And the Greece just don't care about it anymore. They leave it for the Italians. But there is one person that sees what is going on, and they don't want the Orange team to become a massive empire. So, the Purple North African team, they declare war on the Orange team in a surprise invasion. The Orange team is completely shocked by this because the Purple team is probably one of the weakest countries on this map, besides these four countries down here. The purple country is one of the weakest countries on the map, and they're invading the number one country in the world. So the orange team is shocked that this invasion happens. And so they think, should they pull troops back? They don't think so. They keep pushing, but this costs them. Since they decide to keep pushing the front line over here with Greece, they continue to, push. They force their militaries to keep moving forward and not fall back, as they assume the capital will hold its defenses. Eventually, they cut the capital of the Greeks off from the rest of the country, which causes some problems, as a lot of Greeks' holdings here that make them as strong as they are have recently been feeling distant from the capital, as the capital has been focusing more over here in Turkey to fend off the Orange team, and focusing in a lot on their navy to also fend off the Orange team navy. So, the Greeks begin to lose control of this northern area as people start to rise up to rule themselves, which means we might have the second fall of a power. But that is not going to happen today, as the capital defense forces, the forces that are defending near the capital, are unable to hold, and the capital is being sieged. And so the military has no choice but to retreat. But the purple team is not waiting for those forces to come down here. They continue their siege of the capital, and they're eventually able to capture the capital, forcing the orange team into a surrender. The smallest country, the weakest country, forced the strongest number one country after the collapse of the red team to surrender. Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is one very funny thing. But that's not all. Like I said, the areas that Greek have that are not Turkish are unhappy. So, while we see the Ukrainian peace conference between the Greeks, the orange team, and also this purple team down here, the North African purple team, the Greeks agree that they won't take any territory from the orange team, but in return for the orange team not taking a lot of territory from them, they have to they have to basically cut their navy down to size. They can't have a big navy anymore. Their navy has to remain small. Can't be large. Not too small, but still small. And that's exactly what they do. They agree to those terms, and they agree to have a smaller navy in pursuit of not losing a lot of land. They're still going to lose land, because they weren't the ones that took the orange team capital. So they're going to lose land. And folks, I'm sorry for that again. I'm sorry for that freeze. I don't know what's going on. Seems like my computer just does not want to cooperate with me today. So I'm really sorry for it freezing right there or for in the future whenever it does freeze. Anyways, back into the story. So the orange team agrees to stop their expansionist ways and to stop their war. So what happens? What's the peace treaty like? Well, I'm gonna show you what happens and what the peace treaty is like. We see the orange team take very little as per their agreement. They pretty much only take this southern coastal area down here. That's all they get from Greece. They also get Cyprus, which was the main reason that this war started, was because of this damn island. But the purple team didn't let the orange team off so easily. The orange team is forced to relocate their capital. Because with them taking the capital, they had a lot of pretty much diplomatic power. And well, let's just say they really used it to their advantage. As for the most part, they take all of the orange team territory surrounding the capital, essentially encircling the capital. Now, the orange team after that war is still the number one power in the world, even though they lost quite a bit of territory. Now, they didn't lose all of this over here. I guess I did not complete the border. Oh, and I did not right here. That should fix it. There we go. Zoom back out here. Color all that in. Now, the orange team is, again, like I said, still the number one strongest country on the map. Greece is still number three. But that is going to change because, like I said, the country, Greece, the folks out here are unhappy with Greece. So we see five different countries pop up in rebellion against Greece. We see one fairly big one up here in this area near the Italian uh, country. We will see another two big we'll see another two pop up right here and down here on the Ukrainian border, and then we will see one pop up down here, and there will actually be a Turkish rebellion. And when we get to that Turkish rebellion, you'll see something once we get to that Turkish rebellion. So there's another one right here. And so, sorry for going quiet. I heard something. I was listening to see if I was still hearing it. But anyways, sorry for getting sidetracked. We see, like I said, five countries break away from Greece, which is interesting in its own right. Because Greece, out of all of the countries, was actually thought to be one of the stablest countries in the world currently, besides the light blue team, which is currently the number one country which is most stable. Now, the country that is forming up over here, if you look, actually kind of has the same color as the Ukrainians. That's because it's being funded by the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are helping these rebels. The other four are not getting any help from anybody. Now we will have one more country, like I said, pop up right down here. And all of these countries do not like each other. They hate Greece and they hate each other. They pretty much all of them want to rule over this whole area, but they just don't want to do it under Greece. So that's these four, and I did say there was a Turkish rebellion. The only thing about this Turkish rebellion is, well, fact is, this Turkish rebellion is actually taking place in both the Orange Team and Greece. The rebellion is bleeding through. And it is the first time in the history of any country that a rebellion is actually fighting on two sides instead of, just fighting their main country. The rebellion is actually both in Greece and in the Orange Team, which concerns the other powers. Now, this rebellion, well, this rebellion is fairly big, not that strong. It's not too strong, not too weak, of course. But the Greeks are so busy dealing with all of this. The Orange Team really is just tired of their people are tired of fighting a war. They don't want to fight a war anymore. So, these rebels gain quite a lot of land over here in Turkey, pretty much cutting it off from the rest of the Greece empire, I guess you could say, in terms of their land connection. And they essentially keep pushing, and I mean, Greece just exited a war with the Orange Team. This area, their military is still weak from that war, I'm pretty sure. Like, their military isn't going to be up to 100% since they had just lost. Well, not necessarily lost, but they just left a war. And I mean, the Orange Team, they sent all of their troops, down to that area. There are a lot of troops left up here, of course, to defend this area. But I mean, the Orange Team's people don't want any more war. The people begin to tell the king to just give them their independence, give the rebels their independence. But the king is being stubborn. He doesn't want to concede to this country, to these rebels. But the people threaten another rebellion, a bigger one, which would probably overthrow the king and his family. So the Orange Team King concedes and allows the rebels to be peaceful, and he recognizes their legitimacy and independence. But that's only after they pretty much take all of his newly gained territory and a little bit more, which really pisses him off. But to avoid a second Orange Team civil war, which would probably drop them into most likely like the fourth or fifth spots in terms of power ranking, making them fairly weaker, which would give the light blue team the number one spot. So they recognize the independence. And Greece, well, things aren't looking good for Greece. Greece, after trying to fight on a five front war, they just surrender. they surrender. And well, when you surrender, people just kind of gobble up the land that they can get. Greece is pretty much diminished to nothing. They only have this area left to their name. They don't really have any more, and they really don't have any less. With these blue boys taking all of this area right here, and all of that, all this down here. We see this green country. Uh, they take this area up here, taking all of this beautiful land for them. We also see the this country take this city right here, and that's pretty much all they take. They don't take a lot from this war. And the Ukrainian backed rebels take all of this northern territory right here, and the rest goes over to the Turkish rebellion that popped up. And I mean, Greece pretty much just dropped out of the power rankings. So, in the next video, those power rankings will be updated. And you will see the new uh, top 5 nations. Eventually, it will be top 10. Until we get more countries, it's just going to stay top 5. Now, the Italians, of course, get to keep all of their land that they gained from this war. I mean, we might see some more war happen in the Italian peninsula, but really it just depends on what happens with the Italians. And then, of course, we have these guys, of course, taking over all of this area around the capital. So the orange team will move their capital from this area down here, and the Greeks are broken and battered and no longer one. They're no longer united. There was no expansion today by any nation, as every nation, especially the ones over here, were recovering from the war against the red team. These guys were kind of just watching what happens. Same with these guys. Everyone was just kind of doing their own thing and not really expanding. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead down to beneath the video and hit that thumbs up button. Go ahead, give the video a good old like. If you did not enjoy the video, if you felt like the video was just too boring for you or you did not like it, you can go ahead and go right next to the like button and hit that thumbs down button and give the video a good old dislike. I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may live, wherever you may be, have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and I'll see y'all in the next video. And one more thing before I sign off. Again, make sure you go check out Ender M, an amazing YouTuber, amazing guy. He is almost at 1K subscribers. If you go to his channel, make sure you subscribe and get him to that 100K subscribers. Anyways, I'm Sean's Mapping or the Sultanate Empire, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya!